Hey, what is up guys, Cosmo here, and today we're back with a whole other video. And just as I did for Dragon Revolt, I will do in Crusaders of Light. I am going to be talking about Mage Skills in this video. And before we get started, I'd like to show you the skills I currently have in my deck, And yeah, these are the ones I have: Arcane Shield, Mystic Galaxy, and Force of Will, as well as Dreadfall. And you can have different skills in different situations. Like if you're doing dungeons, I highly recommend you replace Dreadfall with Purifying Blast to heal people when you're fighting bosses. So yeah, you have different skills equipped in different situations. Keep that in mind. And yeah, those are the skills I have, and let's get right into the specs that that mages have. So the popular one, in my opinion, are shepherds, and shepherds heal players, so that is a huge help. And it is really useful in dungeons and when you're fighting world bosses and all of that fun stuff. Always have a shepherd with you, or be a shepherd yourself. So yeah, basically all of the skills that mages have are kind of amped up, so it's used for healing and they're better healers at it. And the one I currently have myself is Judgment, the Judgment spec, and what that does is also just amplify the damage a mage does. So the output is really big and you do more damage as a mage. Variety Spirit is less popular, guys. It is less popular. However, it's more of a PvP spec. And the reason it's less popular is because it's not used often in dungeons. In fact, I don't believe it does a lot in dungeons. But for PvP, it's meant for crowd control. It puts everything off guard about the other players. And yeah, that's why it's less popular. However, it is useful in PvP. I have this spec equipped because I like being kind of the... I like using this spec just because you can do it in dungeons and PvP at the same time. So it's not much of a hassle, and I don't want to go in one direction. I'd rather go in two directions. Dungeon raids and PvP. So that's why I use this spec, in my opinion. And when I'm fighting bosses, I do replace it with Purifying Blast, as I said. So I kind of can heal at the same time, but I'm more of a damage guy. And right, I'll be getting into the runes I use myself and which ones are useful for doing damage and not. Now personally, I don't like the cooldown runes, so I don't waste my time with those. However, I know they're super useful because if your skill cooldowns faster than the other opponent, you have a jump on him, or if in dungeons you can use it more often. However, there is a mana limit in this game, so I don't find it useful in my opinion. So I'm kind of using more of my bloodline essence, is what you call it, for different runes to upgrade and make them more useful, or different skills, excuse me. And yeah, these are the runes I have so far, and don't get me wrong, you can upgrade both runes and become super OP, but it's a hassle. It's gonna take you a lot of bloodline essence to max out one side of the rune. So I personally am focusing on one rune rather than both and becoming stronger in that path. But yeah, you can upgrade both runes. It's just gonna take a lot of time and effort and a lot of essence chests. So you don't want to do that. And yeah, these are the runes I have. This is my favorite rune for this row right here. It increases the damage after you use Arcane Shield, I believe. And it increases the damage of Mystic Galaxy for about 6 seconds. Yeah, 6 seconds. And it also increases the damage of your normal attacks. So no skills, just normal attacks. So yeah, I'm focusing all of my red bloodline essence on this rune at the moment. So yeah, let's go on to the other row, guys. Dread Blast, Dread Blast, don't get me wrong, I don't use the skill a lot. It's not my favorite. Again, this skill is meant for PvP, so I don't use it often. And yeah, I don't like the skill at all. It is useful for PvP. It enlists fear to the player, making him move around in a certain direction for 2 seconds, I want to say. Correct me if I'm wrong. And this is the other skill. It increases Milky Way Galaxy, or Mystic Galaxy, excuse me. Increases the damage of it, so it's kind of more of my favorite, and in fact we're gonna upgrade that one. And yeah, you just do more damage. So Mystic Galaxy is kind of the skill I love the most in my deck. And the light sigil, if you place it down, it makes an aurora or a shield. I'll just show you guys. When you use it and you're in it, it increases your damage by just like 1%, I believe. Let's go back to it. Yeah, so I'm not focusing on that one, to be honest. Let's see how much. Your damage is increased by 10%, so that's really useful, in fact, but it lasts for 1.45 seconds, for mine at least. If you upgrade it, it's gonna go on longer. So yeah, that's kind of useful for increasing damage. Good for PvP and PvE as well. And yeah, it's useful in dungeon raids where you do more damage on the boss and all that fun stuff. And Dreadfall, oh my gosh, this is kind of my favorite rune out of all of them. It summons a golem. We have a 9% chance of summoning a golem, and I'm kind of focusing all of my essence, my yellow essence, on this rune right over here, because when you summon the golem, excuse me, it does more damage onto the player, and it's AoE damage, so it lasts for a few seconds. It doesn't say the amount of seconds it lasts, unfortunately, but I believe I'm just gonna throw it out there. 3 seconds, I'm gonna say it lasts for, and it does a good amount of damage, 400 damage to normal players in the area. So it's AoE damage. It summons a golem, 9% chance of doing it, and it looks super cool. I'm gonna be honest with you. The design for the golem, the design for the golem is really good. And I'm upgrading this at the same time as well, because when you use this skill right over here, Force of Will, which does a lot of damage, the mana costs a lot though, but it does a lot of damage. It also gives a shield to it, a 10%, right over here, you guys can read it. Yeah, just the skill is really good, and the rune as well to it. So I'm kind of going both ways, but at the same time I like this one the most, so I'm gonna put more essence into this one. And yeah, save up your essence, guys, because these end runes down here for level 35 are really good. And yeah, this increases Force of Will damage by 9%. If you keep on upgrading it, I'm sure you're going to do a lot of damage. And this also gives you a shield, an arcane shield, and 11%, 11% as effective as the normal one. When you resist the bind that warriors do, or anything like that. So it gives you a shield, which I liked and I upgraded. And this kind of makes you, yeah, not my favorite one. I don't use this skill often, Void Walk, so I'm not focusing too much on that. I don't know why I upgraded it, but hey, it sounded cool. You're kind of invincible for 0.24 seconds, so that's something. And yeah, that's about it. The last row is not the best one, but I'm upgrading Force of Will right now because it does a lot of damage. So I'm gonna invest my runes into the first skill up there. And yeah, those are the runes. And I believe I talked about the different specs. Variety Spell, not the popular one, good for PvP. Shepherd, meant for healing, amplifies healing for the mage. And Judgment just amplifies a lot of damage that mages do. And yeah, I hope this video could help you. And guys, I encourage you to choose your own spec and become a different type of mage, become unique and strong and useful in battle. So I hope this video helped you guys out. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, leave a like down below. Don't forget to subscribe. And this has been Cosmo, guys, and I'll see you guys in a whole other video.